Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Let's Talk Wildlife podcast. I am your host, Courtney, and in today's episode, we will be discussing an extremely misunderstood marine animal, a blue-ringed octopus. They are remarkable in nature and undeniably stunning, but they are some of our ocean's most venomous creatures. So we are going to learn of their involvement in our ecosystem and how you can stay safe if you do ever encounter one of our blue-ringed octopus. So, thank you so much for tuning in. This is our conversation on our blue-ringed octopus. So, the blue-ringed octopus isn't actually just one species. There are roughly 10 different species of our blue-ringed octopus, and they are all named after those beautiful blue markings that they display when in defense mode. Now, only 4 out of these 10 we know enough about to give them scientific names, but 3 out of these 4 reside right here off our Australian coastlines. We have the greater blue, which resides off our Australian coast pretty much to Japan waters. We have the southern blue, which lives everywhere in Australia, including Tasmania. And we have the blue-lined, which lives just right here off our Queensland coastline and the New South Wales coastline. But all 10 of our blue-ringed octopus are all venomous, and they are some of the most deadly cephalopods in the world. So, like all of our octopus, our blue-ringed octopus included has 8 legs, and they are much more closely related to our cuttlefish and our squid. Now, the blue-ringed octopus is actually extremely intelligent. They have some of the most advanced brains and a really good set of eyes. I do believe that they are the most intelligent invertebrates. Now, contrary to popular belief, a blue-ringed octopus isn't this aggressive, wild creature that's out to hurt anything or anyone that it can. The blue-ringed octopus is quite shy, and they are non-aggressive. You tend to find them hiding in rock crevices or under ledges, so they are rarely encountered, and if you are bitten or encountering a blue-ringed octopus, you're probably harassing it or putting your hand somewhere where you shouldn't be. And they're relatively small, only measuring anywhere from 10 centimeters to 25 centimeters. They have a soft sack-like body and all their arms are covered in suckers. Now, they range in color from a tan to cream to a dark yellow, and of course they have those very distinct blue rings, which measure roughly 8 millimeters in diameter, and this covers their whole surface, so their mantle, their dorsal surface, and of course their arms. And these distinct blue rings actually have that dark brown center, and the edges of this blue ring gives the blue-ringed octopus that capability to change color. They might perhaps change color when they're feeling stressed, or they display these blue markings and change in color when they are giving a human or potential predators a warning sign to please leave them alone. Now, they can consume a variety of ocean creatures from small fish to crabs, and they are ambush predators, meaning that they wait patiently and then they strike. And once they have captured their prey, they will dribble that venom into the wound that they have inflicted, which then paralyzes that prey to make it easier for the blue-ringed octopus to consume. So there is no battle. So the blue-ringed octopus stays safe. So of course this venom is used to hunt, but it is also used to defend themselves. And this venom is produced in their salivary glands by symbiotic bacteria. And I do believe that just 1 milligram of this toxin can potentially kill an adult human. So we definitely need to be taking this seriously. But like I mentioned, the blue-ringed octopus isn't this angry creature that's out to get everything and everyone. They don't know that they are extremely toxic, and they are just defending themselves if they do accidentally bite a human. And something quite worrying about a blue-ringed octopus bite is that a lot of the time it's actually not felt. You might see some blood coming from an area of your body, but then it could be too late. So it's really important to stay aware of your surroundings. You may feel some effects like weakness, dizziness, you may feel nauseous, and it's so incredibly important to react as fast as possible, whether that's you that's been bitten or somebody that you are with. The most common cause of death by a blue-ringed octopus is that our respiratory system will fail. So the information that I'm about to give you is some of the most important to know. I would, if you don't want to hear any more of the episode, I would just listen to the next part and then you can go. But that is first calling 000, seeking medical attention. So calling the emergency number in your country, whether that's 911 or 999 if you're in the United Kingdom. But it is so important to react as fast as possible to have a higher chance of survival. Of course, this is easier said than done, but to stay calm and to reassure the person that's been bitten that everything's going to be okay. Again, I know it's so difficult being in that situation and trying to stay calm, but it will do yourself and the other person and the whole situation so much better than if everyone's stressing out. And of course, staying as still as possible. This venom is going to run throughout your body or the person that's been bitten. So it's really important to stay as still as possible. And you may want to apply a firm bandage directly on the bite. You could also then go in with a second bandage and wrap it around the whole limb. This will help until emergency services get there. Another little tip that I think, again, is easier said than done is to track times. So to track the time of when you were bitten and your symptoms or the person's symptoms. This may be too difficult to do, trying to reassure the person, but even if you're not pulling out your phone to write it in your notes, just keeping a mental note of, okay, the person was bitten at this time, this is the symptoms they're feeling at these times. This will really help out our paramedics and our hospitals so much. So if you can do this, just keep a little mental note of their symptoms or your symptoms and when the bite occurred. Of course, if it comes down to it, CPR will be necessary. And why I'm so dedicated to letting people know about our blue-ringed octopus and especially their venom and their bites is because unfortunately there is no anti-venom. So if you are bitten, you must get to a hospital as soon as possible. So having a fast reaction time and really just being on top of it and staying calm will help with this. Of course, we mentioned applying bandages. This is where a first aid kit will come in handy. You can buy first aid kits pre-made. I know you can get some at Bunnings, which is just a hardware store here in Australia. I'm sure your country would have something similar, but you can get them pre-made. You can also custom make them to suit the animals you may encounter and the environments you're in, because it's all going to differ. But it's really important to be prepared if you are hiking in our forests or going deep into the oceans or exploring rock pools, just to be prepared, and you don't know what you're going to encounter. My sisters and I, when we were young, we grew up on the beach and we would go would go snorkeling at the rock pools near our house after school. Every weekend, my sister had encountered sea snakes and there were sharks spotted and rays, which is really cool, really fascinating. And it's made me love animals since that age. But we knew the risks. We knew the animals that we could potentially encounter, from our stonefish to our blue-ringed octopus. So we were always careful. We were always safe. We were always letting somebody know where we were, just in case. So staying safe, and just remembering that in the back of your mind. Of course, always have fun, and you don't always have to stress about these things and be really scared. You must go out and explore. There is so much beauty to Australia. There is so much to see and so much to do and experience, but the risk is always there. So it's great to be prepared. So if something does happen, you don't need to stress out as much. Of course, the blue-ringed octopus does give that warning sign. They will flash those beautiful blue rings, telling you to please leave them alone. And actually, there's no point and there's no reason to be picking up our wildlife or touching them unless you are trained, unless you are educated, you're an expert. There really is no point. They could be venomous, they could be poisonous. You just don't know, and it is not worth the risk. Please stay safe, and when you are encountering our wildlife, give them space and admire from afar. Please be respectful. They are respectful of you, so you must do the same. And it's not just staying safe for you, for the human, it's ensuring that you're not stressing out the animal as well. That's when they defend themselves, and that's when they could potentially bite. It might be you, it might be your child. And that's another thing with our blue-ringed octopus is they have been known to inhabit shallow waters, especially in like rock pools. And in the summertime, when little kids are playing in these rock pools, they might be attracted to such beautiful, bright blue colors. So it's important to be keeping track on your children and ensuring that they aren't touching things that they aren't supposed to be touching, to keep them safe as well, because that's really important. We don't want any injuries. We don't want any bites. We want everybody to be staying as safe as possible. So the 6 out of 10 blue-ringed octopus that we know of, we're not sure about their populations or their risk, but it doesn't seem like they are at risk. Of course, there are still factors like human activity, there's warming of the oceans that will impact their populations. But the blue-ringed octopus does actually help control marine pest populations along our Australian coastlines. So they are pretty important for not just the ocean, but also for other animals that rely on coral reefs, so these pests aren't taking over. But our blue-ringed octopus is very stunning, very beautiful, and definitely worth seeing and encountering in the wild. But of course, stay safe and admire from afar. But thank you so much. If you have made it all the way to the end of this episode, I appreciate you, and I appreciate you listening and taking your own time to learn and to listen. And I hope you now have more of an appreciation for our beautiful blue-ringed octopus. Thank you so much for all of your kindness and kind words on last week's episode on our bilbies. I am so happy and stoked that you guys learned so much and you were so interested in our bilbies. They are beautiful little creatures, and as we learned, they are very important to the ecosystem. But thank you so much. I will be seeing you this time next week. Bye for now.